A multi-platinum selling Grammy-winning singer-songwriter, Pink is an artist who remains as unpredictable and unstoppable as ever. Join us as we follow the colourful world of Pink's incredible journey, from baby Pink to shocking Pink. Born Alicia Beth Moore on September the 8th, 1979, Pink's early years were spent in small-town Pennsylvania.
I was born at Rolling Hill Hospital, which I think is perfect, in Abington, Pennsylvania, outside of Philadelphia, and I grew up in Doylestown. Boring town with lots of drugs in it. My earliest memory is from when I was a baby, and my dad would rock me in his rocking chair and sing me to sleep every night. My dad's a singer and guitar player. He's really good.
Oh, they said I should have been more, probably so if I hadn't have been.
I would perform that for the Vietnam vet functions when I was 6 years old. I already knew how to harmonize.
Yay! My daddy wrote that song.
I took singing lessons since I was 9. I was obsessed with Madonna and Green Day and Two Live Crew and Bon Jovi and Mary J. Blige and PJ Harvey and Mamas and the Papas. It was all over the place. There were these guys that played instruments and they kind of had a band, and they heard me sing one day and was like, you should join the band. So I did. I was like 13, and we would play all ages clubs, and this girl saw me sing and said, I have a group, I'd love you to try out. And then we moved down to Atlanta as 3 girls at 16. That was fun. The record company put us up in a big old house, and then we had a performance for a Christmas show for LaFace Records, and we were awful. About a week later, it was put to me that I could be shelved for the rest of my life if I wanted to stay in the group, or it would have to be my decision to go solo. It was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make. I was on the phone every day with my dad, and at the end of the day, I wanted to do this. I wasn't going back to McDonald's, not for them or for anybody.
Still only 18 years old, Pink moved to New York to embark on her solo project, where she found things were not as easy as she'd hoped.
There you go, looking pitiful, just because I let you go.
A lot of it I did on my own. I had to renegotiate my own deal by myself at 18 years old. I was homeless for 3 months.
There you go, 'cause your life got over. There you go.
I went back to Atlanta once the record started, once I got my publishing deal.
Welcome to Atlanta where the players play and we ride on them things like every day.
It was the time for Hotlanta. It was the Dungeon Family, it was Outkast, it was Goody Mob, it was TLC, Tony Braxton, Usher, and then me.
Big beats, hit streets, see gangsters roaming.
I was having the time of my life. I loved it. It was perfect.
You make me sick. I want you and hate me. Got me lit like a candlestick.
I loved being in the studio. It was a bit sterile. It was a bit unfriendly. I was not in control of the music, of the instruments being chosen. And I'm like, this is not what I pictured. I pictured it to be blood, sweat, and tears and friendship. Hi, I'm Pink. I'm 20 years old. I'm from Philadelphia. There's never been really an image, the whole thing, the whole package thing. It was more musically that I was kind of told where to go. But the pink hair and my name and my clothes and my attitude, my videos, it was all me.
Hey, sister, go, sister, soul, sister, flow.
With a double platinum debut album under her belt, Pink was asked to feature in an exciting collaboration, a remake of Patti LaBelle's Lady Marmalade for the film Moulin Rouge.
All of a sudden, one day I heard Christina Aguilera, Maya, Little Kim. I was like, I'm in. I love that. Everyone expected it to be this big, dramatic catfight, diva ball fest thing, and it totally wasn't. Yeah, a lot of good came out of it. A lot of people didn't know if I could sing. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of the whole thing. Shooting the video was really fun.
I'm learning how to be a lady on this video shoot.
I was very much a tomboy at that point. I was like, I'm not wearing that. And I cried in the fitting. I had my first bratty moment. And then I put the shorts on and I was like, can you make these shorter?
Pink quickly outgrew the manufactured sound of her first album, and in 2001 confronted her record label about directing her own sound her own way.
They wanted me to follow the same formula that worked the first time. They wanted another Can't Take Me Home 2. They wanted, you know, the hit producers of now to keep going in the same direction.
My concern was always that you're abandoning your fan base.
The struggle was you're abandoning your fan base. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. And I said, you're a I probably called him a It wasn't the first time. He's probably called me worse.
She told me, I respect what you're saying. I respectfully disagree with what you're saying.
But he did come back a couple weeks later and he's like, you know what, you're right. So I don't think he would ever apologize, but I did get to say, I told you so. The way that I started Misunderstood was I stalked Linda Perry, basically. I got this 10-minute message, really loud. You know, I had to hold the phone all the way back here from this girl named Pink that's screaming, you know, singing my song in the phone. I used to call her and sing her own songs back to her, and she finally called me back. She's like, you're crazy. I was like, I know. She's like, come over. I'm like, okay. And I never left. I really want to work with you. I've been looking for you. I want you to write a song with me. I was like, okay, is this a joke? Everyone thought I was insane. Linda Perry, a one-hit wonder from the 90s. What, are you crazy? I'm like, yeah, I'm crazy and it's gonna work and it's what I'm doing. Linda Perry from the Four Non Blondes wrote Get the Party Started and produced it. I had written that song prior to meeting her, and I'm like, I think I wrote a hit, and it's so not me. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this song, and as soon as she started singing it, I was just like, perfect. There was definitely something special happening because it was turning into an album. Never win first place. Don't Let Me Get Me is about how us girls sometimes feel inadequate standing next to the beautiful Barbie type. Pop star, hair, etiquette classes, media coaching. The goal is not to make beautiful music, but to sell records and be fake, because then you get paid. LA told me you'll be a pop star. All you have to change is everything you are. And I absolutely did not say that to her. But she was poking fun at me. He wanted me to take etiquette classes, he wanted me to take media coaching, but it didn't really work out. Don't let me get me, no, I'm my own worst enemy. It's bad when you ignore yourself.
She does prove a point here. You can be a pop star and have a brain and have some creativity and have some depth and have some feelings and not be afraid to bear those feelings.
Pink's creative risk-taking had paid off. Not only had the album gone double platinum, the artistic freedom allowed her to confront some childhood issues that had had a deep effect on her.
When you're brought up in a household that's like World War III for the first 9 years of your life and you find hiding spots to get away from it, and every night you're in bed crying, are you guys gonna get a divorce? Can you please get a divorce? I think it absolutely, whatever happens in your childhood shapes you. It ain't easy growing up in World War III, never knowing what love could be. Part of it was a poem I wrote when I was 9, the day my dad left. Daddy, please don't leave. Well, I remember playing my mom and dad the song. My mom cried for 4 days. My dad sobbed. He had to leave the house. But it was something we hadn't really talked about. In our family portrait, we look pretty happy. Let's play pretend. I actually feel that she was a lot happier after she did that song. It's like she got something off her chest, you know, something major. It was really, really good to talk about. And that was one of the moments where I was like, you know what? I'm gonna always talk about stuff that's uncomfortable. It became therapy. Dad, stop picking on Mom.
I'm not picking on her.
I think you get to a certain point where you get up and there's an expiration date on how much of a victim you can be of your childhood.
Pretty happy, we look pretty normal. Let's go back to that.
The one thing I've kept with me through the rest of my albums and through the rest of my life is something that Linda said to me early on. She said, you're really, really tough and you're a survivor and that's cool. But when you're writing songs, you really need to be defenseless. And that was a big reason why I could write a song like Family Portrait. So it worked out.